Hello everyone and welcome back. So now we're going to look at the sketch toolbar and different sketch features or sketching items. So now we know that we need a plane to create a sketch on, and let's and hit sketch where we would select a plane and then create a 2D sketch. Now a 2D sketch is on a plane, whereas we can also create a 3D sketch. Let's create a 3D sketch. Now if we click here, and we can see that we have either a sketch or a 2D sketch or a 3D sketch. Now to click on a 2D sketch, we will need a plane to begin with, and let's select this one for now and start with the very first thing that we have, line. So the line, we can see that when we hover over somewhere, it would try to create this yellow ribbon. It shows that it's horizontal, and when it's vertical it shows that it's vertical. Now it's fixed to be as the vertical, and we can see that now we cannot drag it to become a horizontal or at any other angle. Now if I want to create a line at any arbitrary angle, I would make sure that none of these ribbons show up and the dimension is seen. Moreover, we can see the dimension over here in its properties. So when we click on the line, we will see that what relations it is having and what kind of line it is. For example, is it a line or is it a construction line? So as we know that the construction line is not used in building features, and it's only for your help. And infinite length construction, and it's more like, so we can just try different options with it, and now we cannot do this thing. We would have to delete it. So we just select something and hit delete, and now it's gone. So a sketch can be made of different lines, and as you can see that when we select these, all of these are having some relationship, and that means that they are now fixed in space to be vertical, to remain vertical, or horizontal. And now we try to make these lines as at angle, but they remain fixed. Like a horizontal line remains horizontal and a vertical line remains vertical. So that's very important to notice that these ribbons are not crazing us out. And now we can delete these ribbons, and now we can make it at any arbitrary shape. And the important thing is that when we create the dimensions on a line, oops, I still do have the same issue. That's weird. So to choose on dimension century Gothic, and I'm gonna use this one. And this is the length of the from here to here. But there are other features. For example, if I hit line, I wanna see that what kind of orientation I do have for line. Let's say I do have an angle. So I'm gonna click somewhere and then I'm gonna try this thing. Or maybe I can just create a line that is 345 degrees. Now I cannot move it. Now it's a fixed line. But after I made it, I could move it. Because the orientation that I fixed was just in creating the line. And we did not give it dimensions to have a fixed shape or length. And there are other shape options. For example, the basic ones are line and a rectangle. So when I click here, I can see that I can create three types of lines: a line, a center line, and a midpoint line. What's a midpoint line? It begins from the midpoint and we can drag it anywhere else. And what's a center line? center line or a construction line. And as we can see that we can switch it on and off, this construction option. So we can make everything as construction, and we can make everything as not for construction or a solid line. So for example, if I do have it like this, I'm gonna just play out and create a feature with it. Now I can create a solid out of it, but if this line was a feature, then I wouldn't be able to. Now I cannot. Boom. Now I cannot make a solid like a triangle or a wedge, but I can make something else. That is a thin feature, and we will talk about it later on. So let's focus on the sketch now, for example, and if we do have any problem with the view orientation, we are just going to click on here, normal to, and then it would show us the plain normal to. And the other thing that we're going to talk now is the rectangle type. So if I click on here, I can see this, all of these options here. Now these are different options, like where is my beginning point, the first point, and where is my second point. So for example, for this one, I would begin at the center of the rectangle and I would drag it at the diagonal from the center. And let me just delete everything, and then we can try different options for rectangle. So this one starts with the center and ends with the corner. And as we can see that it has already the center lines between them over the construction line. These are there for help, but if we just remove them, then it's again an arbitrary rectangle. It doesn't have anything to concern with the center. But if it wasn't removed, then it would behave exactly about the center. And let's try some other one. For example, this one, it's a parallelogram, or this is a 3-point corner rectangle. Now we want to try this, and so we hit somewhere, and then we have the big length, and now we drag the smaller length, and as we can see that it is 1, 2, and 3, these 3 points. Or we can start with the center and drag the other 2 points. It's from center to the side, and then it's hovered about. So now these options are really interesting to learn about, and this rectangle is really composed of different lines. For example, if I just convert these lines into a solid line, now it's just a shape. And the one thing that you would notice is that these ribbons, now they have the parallel thing in it, and it has a perpendicular shape to it. Now what this feature does is that it combines different lines, or basic feature is lines, and then it just gives them automatic relationships. And you can do that the same thing with yourself as well. But if there is a standard feature, I would want to use it rather than having a little bit more clicks. And then we have the circle and ellipse and arc. These are 3 basic things that are round. So there are 2 type of circles. One is center, one begins at the center, and one is the perimeter circle. And as you can see that it starts with 3 points or any arbitrary point on the circle, and then we have to click on the other 2 points on the circle, and it's like this: the first point, second point, and the third point. But once it's constructed, now it becomes an arbitrary because we didn't fix it. And to fix it, we need to have the dimensions or its location on it. And similarly, we have three kind of arcs and four kind of slots, or they are also called straight slots. The most the most amazing one is the spline, and it can be a rectangle. Oops. It can take any round shape that is composed out of different points. So it's very less used in metal shop and things like these, but it's very important in industrial design and other things where shape is very critical and the curvature is of critical value. And there is this one, the polygon. Now we can have any polygon, and I can just switch it to 16 or 4. 4 is right. We already know. And then it can be an inscribed or circumscribed, and then this is the least one, like the point, an arbitrary point. So what good is the point? It can help us create different locations on the circle or different geometries, or it can be used as a reference. So we don't know unless we're doing something. So knowing these features is very critical, and but knowing what to use when is equally important as well. So these basic features or sketch options we can explore next in very detail. Have a very good day and thank you very much.